we definitely don't have a perfect marriage at all. We definitely have our fair share of arguments and disagreements, but
some quality entertainment with the underwear. All right, today's a big day. I am attempting to take both kids to the beach while Britt is gonna work. I'm feeling brave.
you know what I'm feeling? FOMO.
Yeah, that is true.
Look at this day.
It's a really nice day. Hey crew, show us your moves. Just kidding. Banks in the house. So yeah, I'm gonna attempt to take him to the beach. It most likely will be a fail, but we'll get out of Britt's hair so she can get work done. What happened?
That's what you're saying to them? Okay, guys, so I had the boys this morning while Connor was at the gym, and then like we usually switch and I go to the gym. So this morning we were eating outside because I sat him outside in his little bumbo so he could watch the chickens, because that's like the one thing that calms him down lately. So I had Crew sitting out there and I was like, just 1 second, I'm gonna run inside and get something. I like went inside to grab something and I hear screaming, like Crew like screaming in fear, and I was like, what the heck? So I start running out there and there's like 3 chickens on top of the table where Crew was eating, just like attacking his food, and he was just like, like screaming, so scared. So I sprinted out there and like shooed them away, but Crew was just so sad, mainly that they got his banana. They were like, he was like, he got my banana, I need a new one.
In other news, Banks is about to crawl. Oh.
Buddy.
I guess that's what it's like having a big brother. We can't do this!
Down to the gym.
All right.
He's like, you don't want to take Mom?
What's your bet? How long do you think I'll last? An hour?
45 minutes.
Oh my God.
Before Crew tries to swim without you.
I believe in myself. I believe. Well, we didn't make it there without tears, but we made it. Here we go. Here we go. We made it. All the stuffs. Banks is okay. I'm missing my partner, Britt. We miss you. What a day. This way. Made it back to the car and it's time to hop in, and I think someone is hidden over here in the bushes. Doesn't want to get in the car. What in tarnation?
Dude, you're rolling.
It's time to go eat lunch.
Are the bugs? Crew, there's
Also-
ants on you.
Also, Britt.
Lots of ants on you. Hop up.
Britt decided to join us. She had too much FOMO, so we're going back to eat lunch and then we'll finish the rest of the video.
Guys,
But
I surfed Crew's board today and it was such a good time. So fun.
oh yeah, the daddy turn, it was fun. Everyone.
The daddy turn?
When it was just me and the boys.
Oh,
Everyone,
yeah.
Crew and Banks and I had a
We
good
saw
time.
our friends Maddie and Cole and they were like, you came alone? So we took a little intermission because we just got the boys down for their naps and had lunch.
And it was good.
And we were gonna film this outside because it's such a beautiful day. But it just got windy, so we want you guys to be able to hear us because we have great marriage advice for you guys, or even dating advice. Don't even have to be like married, could just be partners, whatever it is. But here is marriage advice with the kids because we are experts, you know.
Since we've been
We're definitely, yeah. But yeah, disclaimer, we definitely don't have a perfect marriage at all. We definitely have our fair share of arguments and disagreements, but these are just, we thought this video would be fun because these are just some things that like we've learned from like counselors that we've been to, and also just from being married for like 5.5 years. Crazy. So
we wish, like, I wish that someone
you're so far away.
would have
Come
told us.
closer.
It's kind of hard for me to come closer. How about
Sit
you?
on my lap. Just kidding.
It'd be, we wish that like all these things would have been told to us at the beginning of our marriage. Some of them
Everyone
weren't,
probably wishes that.
but these are some of the things we've learned and some of the things that counselors.
A little background on the counselor thing. So, do you want to tell them how it worked out?
So my mom thought it'd be a good idea when we were engaged to go to, they like bought us a session with a marriage counselor. Was it 1 or 2 times? It was like a wedding gift to us.
Yeah, I don't
or an
remember how many
engagement
times.
gift.
1 or 2.
Anyways, we went and met with the counselor, and it was, at first we were like, it must not think our marriage is good. Like,
No, we weren't even married yet. We
or
were
that, like, we
engaged.
kind of thought, marriage is gonna be so easy. We know how to do
We were like,
everything.
we're so in love. It's fine.
It's like,
Everything
it
will
always
work
works out. You'd never argue. But, so that wasn't the case. And the counselor was super helpful, gave us tools. And honestly, there's no shame in getting help. That was the whole thing. Like,
I
it
know.
wasn't even like we needed
so
help.
funny that like the idea of a counselor is like, oh, like something must be
Negative.
wrong. It's like, no, we just want to be able to make our marriage even better, which is honestly everybody should do it. I want to give this same gift to all my kids before they get married.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Because it just set us up for like when we did encounter those disagreements, we knew how to like work through them better. Still not perfect, obviously, but it helped us out.
But so we did some brainstorming of what everything's been said, and
On
we have
the
it
back
on
of
a receipt,
envelope.
a nice envelope written to me.
Because our paper isn't
Here's
fixed
my
and
pen and
snapping.
yeah, kids are asleep. So, number 1, you got it.
So for the advice that we learned from the counselor, we learned number 1 is to never talk bad about each other. I feel like we had agreed on this before we got married anyways. So like never gossip about each other to your friends, to your family, even your mom.
Or your
It's so
dad.
hard because especially someone like me, I love to talk through things, so it's really hard when I'm frustrated with Connor because I want to like talk to someone about it and like have them agree with me, like, yeah, but that honestly never does anyone good because
Just
you
puts
feel better,
wedges.
but then that person has that image of your
Your partner.
spouse and you move on and you see this person for how amazing they are, but maybe that person doesn't, if that makes sense. So yeah, I really like that, and we've stayed true to that.
Yes.
I can honestly say I've never talked bad about Connor to a friend or a family member.
Yeah.
And it's helped us out a lot.
Basically, he just said like you're your partner's biggest protector. So
Yeah.
at all cases, you do what you can to protect your partner, like you would protect a child, or you want someone to protect you.
And it kind of forces you to talk to each other if you don't have anyone else to talk to about
Fix
it.
it.
So, yeah.
Next is talk about things and come to agreements so you don't argue. So
You wrote so you never argue.
so you never argue.
Yeah, never argue, guys.
Ever.
This will solve
But basically,
all
he
of it.
talked about like he used examples like vaccination for kids, and talked about like, for example, how many times do you want to have sex a week, because sometimes one partner wants to do it every day and one partner doesn't want to, or like one partner wants to what's it called, vaccinate their kids and someone doesn't, and someone wants to do homeschool and someone doesn't. And so just talked about like coming to agreements on these things so that when they do come up, you already know where each person stands.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And like
And
talk through
some
it.
of those things, I think that's a good advice for like dating, because some of those things you might be game changers for you. Like kids or not, like if you want to have kids or not, I think that could be like a big one. And if you are agreeing on that before you get married, it might not. It
Yeah.
might cause a lot of issues down the road. Big things, obviously.
And he talked about like using your partner's side of the brain when you come to those agreements, so that you don't like it's not like a selfish decision. It's like, okay, this is like, how would Britnee think about this? How would she want this? And how am I willing to like agree with her on this? And then he talked about how that makes you guys think with each other's side of the brain.
And that, I know when Connor's come to me and been like, I wanted to go here for lunch, but instead I went here because I know that you would have really wanted that. And it makes me feel so happy, because I'm like, oh, you were thinking about me. You were thinking about like what I would want. And I think that just helps to grow your relationship too. Another thing that we learned was to picture your relationship as corn. It's bright green, growing, beautiful.
Corn.
And you've worked so hard to get it to this point, right? And it talks about they talked about not burning corn. So how you burn corn is when you get into an argument and you both are just saying things that you're totally gonna regret, and you're just like attacking each other, and you're just slowly, burning that corn. That's like something, it talks about not having arguments like that where you're blowing up at each other, because that kind of like burns all your corn and makes you start at ground zero again. Those are really hard to come back from, and they leave wounds and a lot of burnt
That are
corn.
deep. And ways that burn it is like yelling, saying really hurtful things, swearing at each other.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
Scary.
Obviously, like physical abuse. That's,
Oh yeah, that one's bad.
Yeah. Update, guys. We're still doing great on our 75.
Guys, I drank my
Connor's-
fourth I think yesterday I drank 1.5 gallons of water.
You drink your whole gallon before like 10 a.m.
So this is the
I don't know how he
hack.
does
If you are trying to do 75 hard and you're having a hard time drinking your water, when you wake up, 30 ounces, boom, before you do anything. And then...
That would make me sick.
Nope, it just, your body likes it.
Only on my second one, I have to drink 4, and Connor's finished all 4.
And I just need like a little bit
The other night, it was like 9 p.m. and I like realized that I still had 1/2 gallon to drink. And I had to chug 2.5 of these. I felt so sick.
Yeah, she was not happy.
But yeah, day 3, right? Day 3? We're doing good.
7.53 is hard. 3-day hard. So next part is I wanted to talk about what we've learned. Like how far we've come and like looking back on our marriage. And honestly, the biggest one that I feel like is like, don't keep score. Honestly, keeping score is the worst thing for your marriage.
Yeah, give them an example.
For example, I watched the kids all day today and I did the dishes earlier, so you have to make dinner. Or I did these things. I made dinner the last 3 nights, so you're up for dinner. Or you went and hung out with your friends today.
We're pretty bad at this, to be honest.
But
we're not great at this. We are learning that
we're getting better, but honestly,
it's just never good.
When the times that we've argued the most is when we've kept the most score.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's my turn, or it's like, you haven't done this, and it's just like a give and take thing. Because there's times where Britt does a lot of things that like, for example,
maybe we don't even, the other person doesn't even know about, if that makes sense. Like Connor might have done like a bunch of things that I didn't even know about, and so when I'm saying I did this and this and this, I'm not taking into account all the things like that he does without even like asking recognition for.
I'm always doing a lot of extra things.
Yeah, Connor's just keeping us all afloat over here.
Yeah, if I didn't do it, no one was gonna do it.
If you're a real OG,
this is a reference to when Britt kissed me first.
You can't tell.
There's a video of that.
Check it out. Whoa. Your eyes look so green right now.
Anyways, don't keep score, guys. Another
thing that we have agreed upon in our marriage that works for us, but obviously all of these things are to each their own. Might work for some of you, might not work for you, but we've agreed on no pornography in our marriage. It's just gonna leave it at that. We just say no to that on both sides. So another one is, it's okay to not agree on everything. This is something that I've learned. Connor asked me what I've learned, and it took me a few minutes. And he was like, have you not learned anything in the 5 years we've been married?
Just not learned.
Give me a second. And it was that you don't have to agree on everything. I used to think when we first got married that if we didn't agree on something, then that meant that we were like not compatible, or like not meant to be together, or whatever. But that's not the case at all. Like, we're 2 different people with 2 completely different sets of background, sets of interests, all these things. So it's okay to not agree on things, and it's okay to still respect each other if you don't agree on that. I feel like that goes for any relationship you have, any beliefs. Honestly, the world would be such a better place if everyone could just agree to disagree.
So the next one is, it's good to have your own hobbies.
What are your hobbies?
I have hobbies. I like to surf.
That's my hobby.
But it's my own hobby.
Connor likes to surf by himself.
Okay, so that's
his hobby.
I want to hear from you, because this was your idea. This one was your point that you said you learned, so I want to hear what you mean by it.
I think it's okay to have things that you do not with your spouse. So like, I used to love working out, and Connor used to not like working out, and now the times have changed. But back then he didn't love it, so I would go work out, and for a while I was like, why don't you want to work out with me? Why don't you want to do this with me? And it's okay to like have your own hobbies. And honestly, I think sometimes it's good to like have a little bit of time apart doing your own thing, because then you can come back to each other and be like a stronger, happier person. At least maybe that's just advice for when you're a parent in general. It's good to have time away, because I found that every time I have time away, I come back rejuvenated and like ready to put more into our relationship. So what are your hobbies?
I have hobbies.
You've already said that. Surfing and
I like to surf, I like to work out.
Eating protein.
I like to...
Cooking, you're good at cooking.
Oh my God.
You're great at cooking.
That's a hobby?
My hobbies are checking the mail and riding
so Britt's
my
away
bike
from me for 5 minutes,
and surfing.
everybody. No, I think.
And doing the laundry.
So
and the dishes.
So sometimes when you become married, there's.
Sometimes when you become.
Okay, when you are with a partner, a spouse. So this is. Sometimes there's two separate things here. Sometimes there's people who live their individual lives and they are like completely independent of each other, right? Like one does their own thing and one does it. One does their own thing and the other one does their own thing all day. And then when they get home, they stay to themselves. That's okay for them. Then there's the other ones that are very, very dependent on each other. That don't want to go do anything without their partner and don't have an identity because
I think that was the whole thing that we were trying to say was like having your own identity as well. Your identity doesn't have to be your partner.
Not identified.
So let me tell an example.
So here's an example of your spouse cutting you off.
You're not.
Here is an example. I'm gonna give you the mic. Okay. Here you go. You cut me off. I was on a roll.
That was so funny. You're not identified without them.
Okay.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say. Okay, you got
want
it.
The mic back?
Let's go.
Go.
Check. You want to be able to be in the middle there. You want to have an identity, but you also want to be like the. You also want to depend. You don't like my microphone? What is this? It's a big microphone.
I can't take this serious. One point, it's gone on way too long.
Okay, you get the gist.
Hopefully you guys get the point.
I hope. If not, just Google something about it. There's probably another YouTube video about this somewhere else.
Oh, I am in tears. Okay, well, that's our marriage advice, guys. / dating advice. I'm crying. I'm really sad about it. Really sad. Anyways.
Wait, you gotta tell them about our bottles.
They're the Stanley cups.
They're so
What about
cool.
them?
They're so nice.
They're trendy,
They
they are awesome.
They fit in your couple. Anyways, so cheers to that. To marriage advice.
Cheers to good marriages.
Cheers to
good dating.
To happiness. Cheers.
Cheers.